These images were recorded at a time when Europe was still at peace. But within these images, one of history's greatest catastrophes had been overlooked. This video does not show how Nazi Germany was portrayed. It reveals how its mindset truly was. These images were recorded between 1937 and 1939. Europe was still at peace. Cities had not yet been reduced to rubble, and fronts had not yet been drawn. Yet within these images were the traces of an approaching catastrophe. During these years, Nazi Germany presented itself to the world as a grand, orderly, and civilized state. Opened in Munich in 1937, the Haus der Kunst was far more than an art museum. It was constructed as an architectural manifesto of Nazi ideology. 1937 Jelinde Moneyheid Akkelaan, Haus der Kunst, Versailles Musicinden Kochdaha Fazlisede. Bu Yapi, Nazi Ideologischen Mimari Manifesto Sualark, Inka Edelmiti. Adolf Hitler Iken Sanat, Bayrisalai Fade Bikiminden Ziad, Tamamen Devlied Hizmet Eden Burarak Alarak Gruli Ordu, Bunden Delai. For Adolf Hitler, art was not a form of individual expression. It was viewed entirely as a tool in service of the state. For this reason, modern art was seen as a threat because it questioned. It was considered degenerate because it was experimental. For this reason, the Degenerate Art Exhibition was opened in the same year. Its purpose was not to display art, but to humiliate and discredit it. Art had now been divided into two categories: those that served the interests of the regime and those that were to be destroyed. This division would soon extend beyond art, to include people as well. The woman in white captured on camera is Gertie Troost Andresen, the widow of Paul Ludwig Troost, the architect of the Haus der Kunst. What made her truly significant, however, was not who she was married to, but her influential position within the Nazi elite. After her husband's death, she personally oversaw the construction of the building, becoming one of the key figures who shaped Hitler's aesthetic vision. In Nazi Germany, power did not always reveal itself openly. Sometimes it lay in silence. Sometimes it was hidden behind elegance. And more often than not, it existed where the cameras were absent. These images show ordinary people, families walking along the streets, children at play, orderly military ceremonies. Everything appears calm. But in those same years, Jews were being excluded from public life. Dissidents were being sent to concentration camps. The press was under complete control. Totalitarian regimes do not build fear by shouting, but by normalizing it. People do not wake up one day having lost their freedoms. They are taught that freedoms are unnecessary. These images, recorded in Berlin on May 1, 1939, clearly reveal how the Nazi regime manipulated the masses. Labor Day was being celebrated, but there were no unions. Strikes were forbidden, and the pursuit of rights was considered a crime. These marches were less a celebration, and more a carefully staged display of obedience. In September of the same year, Germany would invade Poland, and these orderly marches were the first signs of the approaching war. Nazi propaganda understood one thing very well: people are more easily persuaded by beauty than by ugliness. That is why everything had to look perfect. The buildings were monumental. The people appeared strong and healthy. The photographs were carefully staged compositions. But there were millions of people who never appeared in these images, and they were never meant to be part of the picture. These images, recorded between 1937 and 1939, reflect the world's final days of calm, despite the approaching shadow of war. They remind us that evil does not always arrive with great chaos or open destruction. Sometimes it takes shape within an aesthetic order and is even met with admiration. Many perceive what is happening, but those who find the courage to stop it are always few.